Cain kneels in prayer to the gods and suddenly finds himself teleported to their realm once again. With the divine beings present, Cain seeks to discuss his status with them. Zenom confirms that Cain is already inhuman and is likely the strongest being in the world, in other words, a demigod, much like the divine creatures themselves. However, Zenom warns Cain to remain cautious despite his immense power. The gods then ask Cain to use his knowledge from his past life to bring entertainment to their world. Cain ponders this for a moment and becomes excited at the prospect of creating something popular. Peenem shares in his excitement, and Cain decides to debut his creation in the city. Meanwhile, Reen is trying on various outfits and showing them off to Cain, but he can't handle the awkwardness any longer and makes a swift exit. As he ran away, Cain's eyes caught sight of a familiar pair of cat ears. He called out to Parma, who beckoned him over. After exchanging pleasantries, Cain explained the purpose of his visit, the debut ceremony. Parma mentioned that she was currently undergoing training at her uncle's workshop, and just as she spoke, her uncle Tamanis arrived on the scene. Tamanis, initially mistaking Cain for a cute boy, quickly apologized upon learning of his noble status. However, Cain didn't take offense and instead asked if he could take a look around the workshop. To his amazement, he found all sorts of wondrous items inside. Then, in a moment of excitement, Cain expressed his desire to create something for entertainment. Tamanis was taken aback, but Cain revealed that he already had an idea in mind and asked Tamanis to handle the production and marketing. As they continued their private conversation, Cain eagerly presented his board game idea to Tamanis, who was thoroughly impressed and immediately saw its potential for success. With excitement in the air, Tamanis agreed to handle the production and marketing of the game, and Cain was overjoyed by his decision. In gratitude, Cain offered Tamanis a gold coin to finance the production of the prototype, but Tamanis refused to accept it. However, after Cain urged him to treat it as an investment, Tamanis eventually relented, confident that his Sarakeen company would make the game a resounding success. After parting ways with Tamanis, Cain returned to find his sister Reen waiting for him, looking angry at his earlier departure. However, Cain quickly diffused the situation by complimenting her on her appearance and calling her cute, causing Reen to become flustered but still eager to show off her latest outfits. Though reluctant at first, Cain eventually agreed to indulge her, and they spent the rest of the night admiring Reen's new wardrobe. As the morning sun rose, Reen reminded Cain of his turn. Suddenly, Sylvia delivered the news that Tamanis was looking for him. Cain met Tamanis, who presented him with the completed prototype. Tamanis enjoyed making it and asked Cain for his thoughts. Cain replied with enthusiasm, saying that it perfectly fits the image of Reversi, much to Tamanis' surprise. Excited to try it out, Cain invited Tamanis to play and taught him the rules. Tamanis was impressed with the game and had high hopes for its success. Cain felt embarrassed that he had only copied the game, but Parma and Tamanis were thrilled with the game's possibilities. After their game, Cain instructed Tamanis to make 2 sets of the game, one for nobles with high-quality materials and another for the public at an affordable price. He ordered 50 sets for the nobles and 1,000 sets for the public. However, Tamanis' company did not have enough funds for the production cost. Cain presents Tamanis with a generous amount of gold coins, causing the latter to be taken aback. Tamanis then vows once again that they will do their best. Cain tells him to lift his head up. Soon after, Tamanis offers to draw up a contract with the god of commerce in front of the altar. They need to swear an oath, and once done, the product cannot be duplicated anymore. They place their hands under the board, and Tamanis enchants it. The board emits a sparkling light and disappears, signifying that the contract has been made. Cain requests Tamanis to prepare a more luxurious set as he plans to give it to the royal family. Although Tamanis doesn't think he can do it, Cain trusts his skills with the disappearing Reversi. Cain's mind wandered as he imagined the gods themselves playing the game of Reversi. Upon arriving home, Cain was reminded about the upcoming debut ceremony. During the carriage ride, Garm cautioned Cain to be wary of those who would try to arrange a marriage with their daughters, leaving Cain incredulous. Upon arrival, the 3 of them strode towards the entrance and opened it to reveal a gathering of nobles. Cain meandered around and spotted Corino with some children. He passed them by without greeting them, but was relieved to see Garm with Eric and Silk. They exchanged happy waves. As Eric locked eyes with Cain, he flashed a sinister smile that hinted at ulterior motives. However, he quickly switched gears and thanked Cain for saving Silk. Silk then introduced herself with a stunning display of grace and beauty, leaving Cain momentarily stunned. He composed himself and complimented her on her dress and appearance, earning a genuine smile from Silk. But Eric couldn't resist interrupting, teasing Cain about his tendency to compliment girls. Garm explained that it was because of Rain, and they all laughed it off before departing. Cain mused to himself that he treats girls the same way he treats his sister, knowing that compliments make them happy. Suddenly, the sound of trumpets announced the arrival of the king and his family, and they all gathered to listen to his speech. During the king's speech, Cain's attention was drawn to Tellus. After the speech, they had a private meeting with the king. Cain compliments Tellus' beauty with dramatic lines saying that she looks as beautiful as goddess. He was so overcome that he forgot to breathe. which immediately made her blush. The king, however, wasn't pleased with Kane's behavior and complained to Garm about his son being a womanizer. Meanwhile, Tellez was lost in her own thoughts, imagining herself as a beautiful goddess, while the king's smile sent shivers down Kane's spine. Out of nowhere, Kane politely requested permission to access his item box, and with the king's approval, he revealed his latest creation, the Reversi, an exciting entertainment product. The king was intrigued and invited Kane to discuss it further, as well as his interest in Tellez. Garm was taken aback by Kane's involvement in product development, but he acknowledged his understanding of the matter before leaving with Sarah. Just as Kane was about to leave, Silk gracefully emerged and asked for a moment of his time. She expressed her gratitude for his company during Tellez's absence. Kane asked Silk to call him by her name, dropping the formality. She agrees but teases him as Baron before calling him by his name repeatedly. As their conversation became more intimate, 3 young nobles interrupted them. The child in the middle introduced himself as Habit and complimented Silk. However, his intentions were to make her cling to him, which Silk responded to coldly. Habit's lackey urged Kane to leave Silk and Habit alone, but Kane politely presented himself as a baron. However, Habit thought that Kane was merely the son of a baron. The other child, who was the son of a viscount, also ordered Kane to address them as master. Habit mocked Kane and demanded an apology, but Silk was unhappy with their attitudes and Kane suggested that Habit should be the one to apologize. This made Habit even more irritated, and he challenged Kane to a fight outside. Kane implored Silk to go back inside, but she surprised him with a sudden hug, causing Habit to become even more agitated. He began to threaten them, but Silk cleverly used the situation to wrap her arms around Kane. As the kid began to cast spells with a strange dance, the clouds grew darker and lightning began to flash. He launched a small fireball, but it missed its mark. The other kid took the book and started to dance as well, casting rock bullets that missed Kane by a wide margin. The clumsy dodges that Kane made only added to the absurdity of the situation. As the group tries to cast magic once again, Silk got angry and told them to stop it, as Silk couldn't resist bragging about how Kane had saved her from the monsters, and introduced Kane in a grand way. The others finally realized who he was, and with Silk's encouragement, they begrudgingly apologized and quickly left. Silk was amused by their reaction, but then she suddenly threatened to tell Tellez about Kane's dark side. Kane didn't want that, so Silk offered to go on a date with him instead. Kane agreed to go on a date with Silk. However, Tellez showed up just as Silk was about to spill the beans. Kane quickly covered her mouth to prevent her from talking, but Tellez saw it as a lewd act and threatened to report them to Duke Eric. She demanded to know their secret, but Kane remained silent. Finally, Silk revealed their plans to go on a date, which made Tellez jealous and angry. She pouted and insisted that she also wanted to go on a date with Kane. Kane couldn't resist the cuteness of her cheeks and agreed to take her out on a date. Unfortunately, their conversation was overheard by the king, and Tellez couldn't resist repeating it, making Kane anxious. The king then summoned him for a private conversation, which made Kane even more nervous. Tellez and Silk, however, clung to him, which only served to infuriate the king. Afterwards, the king decided to enjoy a game of plain reversi. However, Duke Eric brought up the topic of the date, reminding Kane that although the engagement was settled, it was not yet publicly announced. Eric cautioned him to keep it a secret, tapping his shoulder as the king did the same, calling him a dirty little philanderer in a teasing tone. This brings an end to our episode. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to subscribe our channel, Any Explainer.